Uh, I'm Genesis. I'm a first-year mentee, and this isn't a tearjerker. This was a college essay, and it's called "Your Life Won't Ever Be Like the Movies." Growing up, I understood that teen movies were kind of exaggerated. I would never go on a one-night scavenger hunt for an indie rock band and end up falling in love, or have my parents forget my 16th birthday entirely. Even so, I had a harder time understanding that being a teenager wouldn't always be as aesthetically cohesive or narratively sound as had been shown. Soulful indie rock doesn't play softly in the background during the right moments. Days aren't divided into suitable chunks of staring introspectively at the ceiling of my quirky adolescent bedroom. I don't have existential conversations with friends in a car driving aimlessly. I'm nearing the end of high school, and I've experienced so little of the teenage dream that I envisioned. I've often obsessed over whether I'm a real teenager, as if there's a For Dummies style guidebook on how to properly navigate everything, but it got lost in the mail. Freshman year disappointed in a way I couldn't describe. The first day of classes, I waved to past teachers in the hallway, and the same faces from my middle school filled up my classes. My school goes from 6th all the way to 12th grade. There's no social order, no football team, no cheerleaders, no band geeks, no chess nerds. I didn't acquire popularity, party invitations, a killer wardrobe, or all the other things I associated with being a teen. And though we lived in New York City, my friends and I somehow consistently found ourselves with nowhere to go, hanging out in the same school building every night. Nothing changed. I felt and still feel so young, like I've yet to transform into something closer to an adult. This was supposed to be the time when I felt and experienced the most, but I was mentally stationary, waiting for my life to begin when it never stopped. I've come to terms with the fact that adolescence isn't a series of perfectly interconnected scenes. Things never look quite as good as they do in the movies. Life isn't only instances of strange magic. It's homework, bad hair days, train delays. It's scrolling through social media or mobile for hours, lying face down on your bed feeling sad for no reason, and journal entries that aren't sage or moving, just embarrassing. It's pain that isn't sadly beautiful and doesn't end up teaching you some broader lesson. I no longer expect every second of every day to be poignant and meaningful, but sometimes one is, and it catches me by surprise, like when I'm walking down Atlantic Avenue around midnight, past cars whizzing down the street in orange streetlights, and a song comes on that's sad and dreamy when I am too, and for that moment everything feels like a fuzzy, sun-drenched Polaroid. Art doesn't imitate life as much as we'd like to think. It takes a few details and blows them up into a universal story that everyone has to relate to, or else they're doing it wrong. Coming-of-age stories have narrative arcs and neat endings. Life, meanwhile, has loose ends, like realizing that the ties that hold you to people can fray beyond repair, that even as you're getting older, you're not necessarily getting better. Occasionally, our lives do resemble movies, but it's not the entire scope. Perhaps the true coming of age is the acceptance of a full spectrum of emotions, messy, random, and sometimes beautiful.